Hey everybody, Catherine Beeks here from Listen Local. Welcome to our very first episode of Managed Participants. I have an amazing group of friends here. They are all musicians, creative folks, and more. And that's what we're here to find out all about them. And so first of all, if you can each in rotation introduce yourselves and just give us a little brief description of who you are, what you do. Let's start with Enter the Blue Sky.
I am Tina D. I am the backup vocal and flugelphone player for Into the Blue Sky.
And I am Sandy Lawless, singer-songwriter and leader of Enter the Blue Sky.
I'm Karen Childress Evans, and I am backup vocal and electric viola.
Viola!
Viola!
Thank you. All right, Chuck, take it away.
Hey, I'm Chuck Roberts or Charlie Roberts, and I'm a writer and play out here in the high desert with a couple of bands and solo. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sure, I'm Bonnie Nichols, and I'm a singer-songwriter based in South Park, San Diego, and I also play with a band called Birds on a Train.
I'm Ted Quinn, and I live in Joshua Tree, California. And lately I'm painting and writing some songs.
Hi, I'm Jules. That was Delilah. I'm a singer-songwriter, half of the musical duo The Nations, and recovered thespian, and also a director, teacher, improviser, comedian.
Nice. Awesome. All right, ladies, Enter the Blue Sky. You sent a video for us to just get a little taste of what your music is all about. Can you tell us what song this is? We'll just play a little clip of it.
Yeah, it's Start All Over Again, which is actually on my solo album, but we had started playing it long before that. So that's what it is. And we're playing it Navajo Live.
Hold your head up high. We will never die. Feed the fire inside. Let it begin. No, it's not the end. Start all over again. Let it begin. No, it's not the end. Start all over again. Inside my brain, inertia is the only thing that moves me now.
All right, that's Birds on a Train, Bonnie's band. When are you guys playing next, Bonnie?
The band doesn't have anything scheduled right now. We're waiting for, Omicron to kind of go away for a while. We'll probably do a porch concert in the spring.
Yeah, it was exciting for a little while. Gigs were sort of back to normal.
Yeah.
Chuck, I know that you were gigging, you're still gigging quite often, right?
Yeah, we're lucky. We're playing at a little place called Divine Wine Bar on the 14th, and then at the Wine Cellar. All these places are up here in Apple Valley on the 28th of January. And then we have a couple of February dates. So yeah, we're pretty active.
Shiny moon, and all the cowboys in this bar, girl,
what's your answer? I think I'll need it soon. Hey, Barstow Queen, let me take it. This ain't the first time you've been in this bed. Hey, Barstow Queen, I've been knocked down too. Hey, girl, have a drink, me. Bartender, make it too. Hey, Barstow Queen. Hey, Barstow Queen. Hey, Barstow Queen.
All right, and Jules, you sent me a video. Let's tell me about it.
The video is for a song called Desert Kisses. That was filmed here on our Joshua Tree home, also at the JT Saloon. So it's a very Joshua Tree video. Last video that we made, actually, it's we do a lot of live videos. Of course, we tape our performances, but this is like a real little movie video that was shot by JD Rudametkin, who's a local Joshua Tree multi-talented artist. He's a musician with Step Jane, that's his band, and he's also a filmmaker. So he came over here on the windiest day of the year about a year and a half ago, and we shot this video really quickly in crazy wind, which fit the song perfectly. So
Nice.
it turned out really well. I'm really proud of it.
All right, we're gonna play a little clip of it right now.
Cool.
Desert kisses mean a lot, especially if they're all you got. So let those bitter winds blow and let the sun beat down. I'd work 1,000,000 hours as long as you're around. The wind and the sand can be hard on a man, but at the end of the day it's just weather. The sweat and the grime and working overtime, but at the end of the day we're together.
All right, thank you for that. And Teddy, you sent me a video of something you did just recently in your boudoir.
Yeah. Well, it's partly, it's a song that I wrote the day before, so like the 23rd or 24th. And then I made a little demo of the song at home on my bed. And then I went over to my friend Stuart Hayda. I'm sure Jules knows Stu. He's a dear friend that plays in the Sunday band up at Pappy and Harriet's. And anyway, a friend of mine. And I went over to his house on Christmas Eve, and the two of us recorded the song together. And I kind of shot stuff with my laptop. While we were there, it was during the period when my phone wasn't working at all. So I was shooting with my laptop, which is a really grainy sort of, not a very good resolution. But we made a little video of the night for Christmas Eve and released it at midnight on Christmas.
Oh, that's beautiful. Let's check out a little bit of it now.
Come with me on New Year's Day. I know everything's gonna be okay because I know where to place my trust. I have faith in us. I have faith in us. I have faith in us. keeps me warm. Yes, it does, because I have faith in us. I have faith in us. I have faith in us. I have faith in us.
All right. Well, I want to get to know a little bit more about each of you. That's why I have you on the show. I know you. I know your music. I know your art, but I want to know more about you. Actually, Jules, I don't know you. You're kind of brand new to me, and I'm excited about getting to know more about you. This was most interesting to me, the summer camps you do for kids. And so tell me everything you do. Tell me everything.
Wow. Well, I was pretty focused on the band, primarily for probably about the past 15 years. And, kind of got a hankering to get back into theater. I was really feeling that bug. I sort of left the theater behind and moved into rock and roll, but it's always been there kind of lurking in the background. So in Topanga, my other home besides Joshua Tree, I'm wearing a t-shirt that says Topanga Corral, which is a famous rock club in Topanga back in the 70s and 80s. They're nodding their heads. Maybe you're LA people. I can't wait to hear about you. But anyway, we spend a lot of time in Topanga Canyon and Joshua Tree. Those are kind of our two homes, though I'm originally from New York City. And a friend of mine runs a camp there called Camp Cabaret, which is a kids camp in the summer. We put on a play on a front porch in Topanga. And it's been just a heart-based project of mine for the past few years. And then she kind of gave me her blessing. And now that I'm sort of moving away from just working with the band and sort of putting my acting, directing, theater hat back on, I'm going to be leading several camp cabarets around the country this summer. So I'm doing one in Eagle, Colorado. I'm going to be doing one in Joshua Tree. I had 3 little kids at the Joshua Tree Music Festival kind of attack me and say, "When are we doing camp?" So I guess I'm doing camp in Joshua Tree, and then I'll be going and doing a couple in California, and then I also do one in Mexico. My husband and I spend a good part of the year down in Baja, and I've been doing a talent show, actually a multi-generational talent show down there with senior citizens all the way down to 3 and 4 year olds. And it's also bilingual with Mexican families and gringo families. So that show in particular is very close to my heart. So all of these are cabaret shows. They're, basically talent shows. I ask the kids what they're good at and what they want to do. And they bring me songs. I know all the contemporary pop songs because I'm learning them for 8 and 10 year olds. Like, okay, great. I'm really into like Ed Sheeran now. And, so they all have their pop hits they want to sing. And then we turn them on to kind of classical musical theater stuff and rock and roll. We've also had like a kids rock and roll band down in Baja, where we teach them rock and roll songs and get them going on the bass, A. Always a good instrument to teach kids. So kids are a big part of what I do now, and breaking away from just pursuing the band really has brought a lot of richness and creativity back into my life. I was very band centric, and I would say it was partly the pandemic that kind of broadened my focus, but also it's just that need to do something a little bit different, and kind of tired of the grind of gigging and recording and not getting anywhere, and going, okay, maybe I want to find something else to sweeten the pot. I found the music business starting to get a little bit sour. So
yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But my background's definitely in theater and stuff like that. And then meeting Johnny, and we formed our band, and I've always been a writer. I've always written a lot of lyrics and poetry. And so always been a lyricist. So finding Johnny and being able to write songs together pretty comfortably was pretty phenomenal. I'm always looking for collaborators for songwriting. So anybody wants to write a song, let's do it.
Nice. Well, speaking of that, I was going to ask my next guest, Chuck Roberts, one fantastic singer-songwriter. And I've had a couple sessions where we've been sort of writing together, and it's not something I'm really comfortable with. I've never been comfortable co-writing with someone in the same room. I love to do it separately, like have their music for a while, but Chuck is like a one-on-one, face-to-face, let's sit down and write some songs kind of guy. And he also, I don't know, you're very honest, Chuck, and to the point, and that's really refreshing. It's not always great. That sounds great. You're like, well, maybe it could sound better. And that's what I really appreciate about you. So welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit more about the songwriting that you did, dog specific, and that story, because I find that fascinating.
Well, I skipped that I'm an Aries and I like long walks on the beach, and poems by Emily Dickinson, those kinds of things. The dog stuff was just a chance to from a friend to sell some songs to a TV show. I just got noticed after, we started in 2006 that they're gonna cut some more episodes. So hopefully I'll make more money. It's not a lot. It's like I play a coffee shop every week. It's a beautiful thing. And, like any songwriter, I write a lot of lamenting ballads about how I feel, Jesus. And, my kid was walking by years ago and said, you write so many sad songs. And I go, the only happy songs I have are about the dogs. And he goes, yeah, and what's making you money? So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, and I enjoy writing together. I mean, how can you have a sandwich if you're not in the same room? As musicians and artists, we spend plenty of time alone. I mean, I've just played songs over and over and over and over and over and over, to learn how to play them. And so I like the social aspect of it. I have a lot of opportunity to work by myself in my room. And if I'm going to work with someone as talented as you, Catherine, or anybody, I'd rather do it, together. Jules talked about being improvisational, and we watched the Beatles Get Back that just came out, how much improvising those guys really did. And that's the kind of thing that excites me, is the chemical click between having people in the room and the spontaneity of ideas. And right now I'm trying not to learn to edit myself, but I think I probably should edit myself and let someone else speak.
Oh, I love it. And Bonnie, what is it like to have a seasoned songwriter like Chuck want to cover one of your songs?
Yeah, that was an interesting experience. That's a song called "The Ring," and it's one of the last ones I recorded, and it has received some attention and from a couple of people, and Chuck was one of those people. And since I'm very new at this, I've been a singer-songwriter for about 3 years, been in the band for 4 years. I had no idea how to respond to such interest or a request, and that's why I reached out to you. Say, what should I do? What do I expect? And it's essentially kind of letting go of, I created this song and now someone else wants to kind of take a crack at it and see what they're going to do with it. And so now I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. So a very interesting experience, definitely.
I love it. Teddy, I understand that you were a child actor. Can you tell me about some of that experience?
Oh yeah, I've been in show business for like 100 years, because I was just thinking it's such a thrill. And I'm so happy for the person who just spoke, because it's such a thrill when somebody else wants to sing your song. I don't know what higher, what higher honor there is as a songwriter than to have someone want to do your song. And Chuck talking about the Beatles. I mean, I know I could go on about the Get Back movies for more hours than it actually was on the air, but it was such a great lesson in songwriting for anybody that, or actually just for collaborating. It was so refreshing. And for me, being someone who was a kid who was in love with the Beatles and saw them breaking up, or thought that's what I was seeing when I saw the film as a kid, to see it now and to see how well these, obviously they had so much going on in their lives that, so much acclaim, but when they got together in a room, and this is such a good lesson, I felt, for all of us and for anybody who wants to make music, is just to, like, they dropped their egos. They were throwing lines out for each other's songs, finishing each other's thoughts. And, and obviously what resulted was like the best stuff in the world. So it was really, that was such an inspirational thing to see. And yeah, when I was the kid on TV, I was really dreaming of being around the Beatles. So to answer your question.
I love it. Nice. All right. So you ladies are off to Europe. What's that? How did that happen? And where are you going? And tell us all about that.
Well, we have a friend who got married in Scotland on the Isle of Mull, and she decided she wanted to have her reception, in April. Well, it was planned earlier, but then of course the pandemic shit happened, and so she came back here trying to get her visa and all that figured out, and came to a gig and said, "Can you guys play at my reception, in Scotland?" And we're like, well, we had already talked on Facebook, and I was like, yeah, that'd be cool, I didn't tell the girls until then, after Karina is our friend. So after she left, then the girls go, hey, Karina's under the impression that we're going to be performing at her reception in Scotland. And I go, well, why not? Yeah. And so,
Yes.
And it's so like, why just go there for one thing, And it happens around spring break for Karen, who's at school. And so we're flying into London, and then we're just doing the train. We're going to Liverpool and then Newcastle and Edinburgh, over to the Isle of Mull, and then we're ending in Glasgow and flying out of there. So right now we have 4 gigs set up. And it's on both ends, the beginning and the end. So now we got to fill in the middle,
Nice.
But no matter what, we'll just have a good time.
Oh my gosh, even just busking there would be fun.
Well, it's going to be very, very cold.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 49 degrees.
She can't, her finger, she can't feel her fingers out.
Yeah.
Bill is a little persnickety.
Karen, I think you retired, but what did you used to do with the schools?
I retired, I've been in education for 50 years now, and I retired 7 years ago from, I was the executive director of visual and performing arts for San Diego Unified School District, the 2nd largest school district in the state of California. And I was in charge of all the dance, theater, music, and visual art. And so that's how I met you, my dear. Yeah. And right now, as a retiree, I'm working as the artistic director for orchestras at Grossmont High School. And I volunteer there 2 hours a day and have an extraordinary amount of fun. And then I do arts and crafts, and I do my art, and I do everything, But I just recently broke my back, so right now I'm just healing so that I can go to the British Isles.
Good, beautiful. And Tina D, can you tell us a little more about yourself? What you do outside of the band?
Outside of the band, my husband and I are self-employed. He's a contractor, and so I've been playing guitar throughout my teenage years. I kind of, for 10, 15 years, one of the ones who put it away in my life got in the way for a couple decades. And on a dare on my birthday, somebody said, okay, on your birthday, you have to pick it up and play again. And so 2 weeks before my birthday, they said, okay, your birthday's coming up. Are you ready? It's like, oh, man. So my guitar was waiting in my closet for me for, 20 years later. So I had a couple weeks to pick it up and figure out a song. Played Harvest Moon at Cosmos, back when Cosmos had it. And then figured I better, either I'm going to stay with it or I'm not going to, I'm just not going to play for another 10, 30 years.
Yeah.
So I just kept playing and played local open mics and found this wonderful musical community that I never ever would have imagined.
And we love you too.
She invited me to join the band, so it's been a bucket list to be a backup singer in a band. So it's been really, really fun, and I love these ladies like sisters.
Fantastic. I love it. All right, what do you guys have coming up? What can you share with the viewers and listeners? Jules, let's start with you.
Well, I not a whole lot, I have to say. We our next batch of gigs is going to be in Baja. I'll be traveling down. Johnny's there already. He's already there surfing and enjoying the sun and the beach. And I'll be joining him in February. So our next batch of gigs will be down there. So if any of you are in the Cabo San Lucas, southern Baja area, you can check us out in Todos Santos. We play there quite a bit. And really after that, I'm just getting ready for my 40th high school reunion, which is the High School of Performing Arts, fame, I'm going to live forever. That was my high school.
Nice.
And I'm going to I'll be driving across country to go to my reunion. Really looking forward to that. I'm in the process of purchasing a van to start living more of a nomadic lifestyle. I think the maiden voyage will be this cross-country trip back to my high school reunion, which I'm going to film. I'll be filming the whole thing, like a little documentary.
Nice.
So looking forward to that. I'm kind of getting it ready. I've got my dash mount camera. I'm getting a new iPhone with a better camera and learning how to shoot interview stuff so I can do this documentary. I'm going to go kind of a backwards walk through my life because I went from New York to Chicago to California, and I'm going to be going backwards. So I'll be going California, Chicago, New York, and kind of revisiting. I don't really know what the storyline of the documentary is going to be. Like for me, it's kind of a professional revisiting of my career.
Yeah.
Because Chicago is where I started doing a lot of improv and comedy, and back in New York, I was doing all musical theater and commercials. So it was like a big shift. And California, I switched to rock and roll. So, hey, girls, you behave down there. Smack. I know how to control little girls from summer camp. So, so I'm looking forward to making that documentary and hitting the road a little bit more as a sort of a traveling storyteller.
Yay.
So yeah, I'm also doing a lot of pitches for The Moth. You guys listen to The Moth on NPR?
Yep.
Wonderful, first person storytelling. So I've been writing all these first person stories, and the way you pitch them to The Moth is condensing them to 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to record them on their phone line. You have to get a whole story into 2 minutes and get the whole story in beginning, middle, and end. So I've been doing this practice of funneling my stories down to a 2-minute pitch and then calling the Moth line and pitching. So I really hope they bite on one of those because I really love The Moth. And that's been a wonderful exercise as a writer.
I was going to say, that's great.
Well, as a lyricist, right, I'm writing just verses and choruses, and it's a very limited amount of words. And recently I've given myself permission to write a lot more, doing Kevin's workshop and writing fiction and writing first person storytelling. So now I'm just like blah, 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 on the page and loving it. So now for these Moth pitches, again, I have to do this funneling back to kind of a lyrical kind of thing where I have to use just the important words.
Right.
And not only that, just the important parts of the story. I have to really hone the story to what is propelling the story forward,
right,
and just lose all the chaff. It's been a remarkable writing experiment.
That's awesome.
So I'm really enjoying my writing right now, and I'm really enjoying not booking gigs right now.
Good.
I'm really enjoying not being a booking agent and not being a publicist right now, because that's the part of being in a band that gets so tiresome for us as musicians.
Yeah.
And to be able to just hang those hats up for a while, feels really good.
Good. We look forward to following you on your trip over
Thank
there.
you.
So we'll stay tuned to that. Thank you, Jules. Awesome. Bonnie, what do you have coming up in the near future?
Well, I do have that gig at Navajo Live, and it's that's January 16th from 7 to 9. It's a singer-songwriter showcase. And as I mentioned, I'm kind of the newbie, so I have performed with my band, but I've never performed solo except in backyards of friends' houses during the pandemic. So so I'm looking forward to that, and I'll probably wear a mask when I'm not singing. I mean, gotta be safe. I'm gonna order a black mask so it kind of looks chic.
Yeah.
And So that's the main thing I have coming up. And I do want to host an EP release party. I was going to do that early February, and like, no, it's just not the right time.
Right.
So that's not happening.
Yeah.
And I do want to create a couple of videos for my songs, because it does seem that when you release a song and you post it on Facebook or Instagram, I think people they're more apt to listen to it if
Yeah.
you give them a story to watch.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Bonnie. And Chuck, you will be playing some shows in the greater Apple Valley, Victorville, and beyond. I know you have quite a circuit that you do.
Well, I can't seem to cure my narcissism, so I keep going out and playing, albeit it's harder and harder, for viral reasons, and just harder and harder because everybody will work for less than what I can pay good guys to come in and sit in with me. But the other things I have going on is I'm releasing a single called Hailing Heroes that will be done with. The music's done, and it's just getting all the other promotional stuff to prop it up. And I'm hoping to do that by the end of March. And then following that with another, and Hailing Heroes we made and recorded with a guy by the name of Matt Grundy, who works with Donovan Frankenreiter. Really exciting that Matt took that song and kind of put his spin on it.
Nice.
And then a ballad called Make Me Cry will follow that. And just trying to, I think I told you that every day 44,000 songs are released on the internet. And so, I was a little troubled by that, but I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket, and that's like 300 million to 1. But I think I got that in the bank. I've already spent that money. My bookie, I'm down about $82,000 from the Ram game. They pulled it out, but didn't cover the spread. So, I'm going to need that lotto money. It's pretty serious.
I hear you.
I'm hoping that comes through too.
Oh, Chuck. And Teddy, I know that you used to host an open mic in Joshua Tree. I don't think you're doing that anymore because of the pandemic. What's going on with you? Where can we find you? What are you doing, Teddy?
Well, yeah. So like in March of 2020, I stopped hosting the open mics at the Joshua Tree Saloon. And I had stopped doing the one up at Pappy and Harriet's about 5 years earlier. And I've kind of been, a little bit of a hermit. So I don't really have any gigs. I did something up at First World about a year ago. And I did something at the folk school here in Joshua Tree recently. But I don't really feel like I'm going to go out and play that much. I think, I like doing stuff from home. And so as I write songs, I think I just will record them and or release them just on the phone, not really worry about it. And, the record that I did with Stu, or the song that I recorded with Stu Hayduck the other night, is kind of, we were very excited about it. So we thought that we'll try to do a whole album, kind of like the Beatles had to do the Get Back album in 3 weeks. And he had a couple of gigs this weekend. And so we hope to just start recording and like get something done in just a couple of weeks, and real basic, nothing, not a lot of overdubs or anything, just pretty live, and just kind of go like that. And, get those black masks, but make sure they're the N95s, because that thing is really, I've noticed in the last week or two that more people in my life and closer to me have come down with the virus. And it's people who are vaccinated also, and thankfully fairly well for the most part. But, be real careful out there.
Indeed. Yes. Thank you, Teddy, for that message. And also thank you for your activism and what you bring to the community. I think you're a marvelous person from what I know of you on social media.
Well, thank you for getting me out to play. That was so much fun at the Palms. I hadn't been there for, at least during the pandemic. And it was really nice to see Mary and Laura and James Sibley.
Yeah,
And
that was a
really
fun
loved
show. All right, and Enter the Blue Sky besides Scotland, what do you ladies have coming up?
Well, in January, which we're in now, obviously, we're playing at Nate's Garden Grill a couple of times. We're doing a streaming thing at Kulak's up in Laurel Canyon. Kulak's Woodshed. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but it's like a place. It's a total hole in the wall, and they even have a big queen size bed in there that for part of the seating, and chairs that are all cut down and stuff. Anyway, they have professional video
Yeah.
cameras on tracks and stuff. Have you been there, Catherine?
I've never been there, but I've seen their videos that they do. They're phenomenal.
They're amazing. They have, I don't
5
know,
and 6
Been
cameras.
around forever. And
Yeah.
Paul Kulak has been a real champion of independent musicians.
absolutely.
For at least
Yeah,
20
so
years.
they're finally opening it up for audiences again, and well, at least that's how it was set. So on the 12th, we're going to be up there, and then so that'll be 2 hours. Is that? Yeah, 2 hours, and yeah, it's a great deal. It's $300 for 2 hours, and then they give you the whole thing, and it's so professional. All the cameras are on tracks, and
That's
they
awesome.
got a video room, and they have an audio room, and it's great. So we're doing that on the 12th, and then we have we're going to be playing down at the at Carly's in Borrego, which I've always wanted to do, and we just got that January and February, and then what else? Oh, Space Bar I'm looking at our calendar on
Sunday
on
morning?
January 16th.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Sunday morning. It's
Nice.
Those are really fun.
breakfast at.
I
yeah.
love that.
So
time
for
of
me,
year.
I could play out every single day.
Yeah.
I have a day gig, but I
Yeah.
would love to play out every single day.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, just
Play out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys very much. I didn't want to keep you over an hour, but I have one final question, and it's basically just, do you have anything else? Teddy, can we start with you and just share anything final that you want to say?
Well, let's see. I just think that for me, and if I was to give anyone my thoughts about, being an artist, it's just do what you have to do and what you really feel. And, it'll find the right ears, it'll find the right eyes for the work. If you, I think that the most valuable thing is to be completely, oneself. And so, like the people that stand out, like that Chuck mentioned, like the Van Goghs or the Mozarts or whatever. It's really true that most artists are not really, and Emily Dickinson are not really completely appreciated in their own time. And I don't think that that's the most important thing. I mean, I think that it's way more important to just do what you really need to express. And yeah, so I look forward to making a record, finishing a film that I started before the pandemic, and doing a lot more paintings in this new year. And I made myself a schedule so that I would spend 1 hour doing one project, move over to another project for an hour, allow myself some time to eat, go to the next thing, and kind of set up like I'm going to school every day to do my projects.
I love that. That's a great idea. Well, thank
Nice.
you, Teddy. It's just a pleasure to get to know you, and I hope I get to run into you a lot this year.
Same to you. Thank you.
Bonnie, any final thoughts?
I was just looking at this, my 2022 goals that I've been working on. I don't know if you can see this at all.
Oh, wow.
top-
There's a
so
lot there.
The top ones are all music. Then we have personal, and then we have business. which is
Okay.
like three lines. So for me, it's all about learning. getting better on the bass, taking bass lessons, getting better on guitar, learning something new on the melodica, writing a new song, creating videos. It's all, this is maybe even busking. This is just a really, despite the pandemic, it's still, it's an exciting time for me because I work from home. I'm do very well as a hermit. And so it's all about learning. But I guess the last thing is that one of my goals is to collaborate, and it's hard to meet people when you don't know performances if they're going to happen. And I saw Sandy at the songwriter showcase, and now I feel like I know her so much more. And
Nice.
so that's something that's really important to me, is collaboration with other musicians.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's the main driving force behind this new series, is just to still be able to hang out with people and, get to know some new folks from Joshua Tree and the Morongo Basin, and keep in touch with my old pals in San Diego and introduce the two. So this is great. I love it. Chuck, give us your thoughts. What is on your mind?
I really hope that we all figure out a way to help somebody and help one another. I think for me, I told you I'm getting out of the you should business, so for me, it's being aware of the people that I can help. Whether it's just to go see them at a show. I mean, I have a rule that if you see my show, I'll be at your show. That's just, it's the days of Little League. You buy my kids candy, I buy your kids candy. And I hope that's it. I think if I just read a book called Rock Me on the Water, and they had the documentary about Topanga Canyon. Was that it? And it just seemed like in the 60s and 70s, there was so much more collaboration and not so much, you can't have a slice of my pie. And I just hope it, people, put a hand down and help somebody up the stairs, to the stage, or give somebody their spot, or you got an extra song, I only need to sing one, you go ahead and sing three. Just anything, or hell, you're sick and you need some groceries, sure, Venmo the money and I'll go do that. Whatever it is, I think that's what we also need to do as artists. We talked about Van Gogh and his brother who took care of him. It's I think there's a lot of opportunity when we look around to help people and to do that. And I think if anything could make this a wonderful place to be and a wonderful way to express art, it's generosity and moving from that first. That's it.
Thanks, Chuck. You redeemed yourself.
I still believe the other stuff.
That was beautiful. All right, ladies, any final thoughts?
Sandy?
You guys, oh,
I
Well-
can speak for us.
Bonnie, so the 16th at Navajo? Cool. All right. Great. I'll be there. This is something actually that's interesting. Chuck was talking about going to see other artists. I rarely see other artists. It's difficult for me as an artist, because it's hard for me to just listen. And so I'm like, oh, that was an interesting way. Oh, I would have done it this way or that way. It's really hard. And so I end up going to see a lot of jazz shows because it's nothing I do. So it makes it easy. But I have in the last couple of months gone to see more artists that were more peers, and it's uplifting, and to be that support. I enjoy that. I just went at Navajo last week and saw Mark Montijo and Bobo. Yeah, so it was really nice, but I just have to really let go of my inner, just be there and enjoy it. So I enjoy that. And I also am trying to figure out what I can do to help more to help the world, help people, help humanity, help, existence, whatever. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm not sure what it will be yet, but at least if I can stay open, maybe something will come my way.
And this other group that I play with my husband, we play old 40s, 20s, 30s swing, that sort of stuff, or just whatever, up till about, I don't know, 60s. But we play for retirement communities, older folks, independent living, that sort of thing. And the joy that it brings to them, we're never going to make a living at it. We get paid, but it's not so much getting in. It's just being in a room with a whole bunch of grandparents that really just love you to death, and you're bringing such joy to their living. That's why I do stuff. Yes, I do it because I need to, but if I can make other people happy, and I know that we do in this group, I just know by the feedback we all get, then we're doing wonderful things. If we do wonderful things for us, that's doing wonderful things for others, then it's a circle, and that's what it's all about. Yeah. And I get to talk to wonderful people like you. So
yeah,
and I concur with both.
Do you concur? You concur.
I concur.
Nice. Wonderful. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much. I just love all of your brains and your hearts and your music and your art. And thank you so much for what you do for the world. And thanks for being on the show.
All right. Thanks, Catherine.
We'll see
I love
you.
your dog.